Defensive coordinator Greg Mattison is with us now. And, Coach, you look at that improvement, it is pretty dramatic with essentially the same personnel. As you look back on it now, how do you think you guys got so much better so quickly?
Well, first of all, the seniors did a great job of leading. They bought in, and as you know, when a new staff comes in, they either jump on what you're saying and do it all the way, or they question you. And this group, from when Brady took over, bought in 100%, and they believed in the chance for us to become a Michigan-type defense was to play hard, eliminate big plays, and play great red zone defense. And we worked on it hard, and we had great leadership, and we were fortunate enough to be successful at times.
Greg, building on that question, what's the biggest challenge for this year's defense?
Well, it's going to be exactly the same as last year. We've got some guys that played a lot of football last year, but the Mike Martins and the Ryan Van Bergens and the Will Heinegers up front played such good football for us that really people didn't know much about. And as you know, Coach, that you're only as good as you are up front. All the secondary guys coming back and having experience, that's all great, but you've got to be able to stop the run up front. And so I think they all have to buy into, they're going to have to play as hard as they can again. I mean, they can't go out there with that Michigan helmet and say, okay, here we are. You got to play hard, don't give up big plays, and that's what we've been working on.
Staying there, when you talk about being up front and those guys have to be good, assess their improvement or where the growth is taking place.
Well, they definitely have improved. They've improved since the spring. We're the only major college program, I think, in the country that the head football coach coaches one of the positions. And I think that kind of sends a big message that up front is where it's done, and they get coached really hard. They've worked very hard, and we won't know until we get into the battle to find out where they are compared to where last year's front was.
Great opening game. Tell us what Alabama's offense looks like schematically.
Well, they're a great offense. Their offensive line, Jerry, is as good an offensive line, I think, as I've seen in college football. And they're experienced, they're big, they're physical, they can run. And they're, again, up front for them. That's a key, and that's why it's going to be a huge measuring stick. Got a very experienced quarterback. They'll always have great running backs, and they're always going to have speed at the wide receivers. But it starts for them up front, and they're a very, very talented offensive line.
What's the one key, if you had to pick one, that will allow this defense to have success this year?
I think it's going to be not giving up big plays. I'm a firm believer that if you can make an offense go the distance, you have a chance to come up with a pressure or come up with something to get them off stride. But it's when you give up 40-yard plays or 30-yard plays, that field gets short in a hurry. And now it comes down to a little bit more talent and a little bit more everything being perfect, and you don't want to get in that position very often.
Who are you looking to for leadership this year? You mentioned the seniors last year really buying in. How about this season?
Well, Jordan Kovacs, number 32 for us, played tremendous football last year. He's a Michigan man. He does everything you ask. You'd think he was a rookie, and this is his fourth year. We need great leadership from Craig Rowe. Craig Rowe has to have that kind of year that the guys up front had last year. That's what we're looking for. Kenny Denmans, our secondary has got a lot of playing experience. And a guy, Jake Ryan, had a big game in the Sugar Bowl. He's got to continue to keep improving, and he's still a young guy.
Defensive coordinator Greg Mattison. Thanks a lot, Coach.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
A closer look at the turnaround that Mattison oversaw in year one as the Wolverines coordinator. Opponents scoring less than half of what it was in 2010. It was the biggest improvement in FBS football last season, among the top handful over the last 15 years. As you would expect, the yardage total also down significantly. Turnovers a big part of the story on both sides of the ball. They had a +7 turnover margin after being a combined -32 in the previous 3 seasons. Those 29 takeaways led the Big Ten.